Welcome back to the channel, and today we'll be talking about something a little bit different, but something that also takes control of my entire life basically right now, which is OT school. So I know I talk about OT school a lot, but what is it? So I'm here to answer one question. What is OT school like? And I got my handy dandy notebook in case I don't forget anything. So I put together 6 different ideas about what OT school is like. So if any of you are interested in applying to OT school or wondering what it's like compared to undergrad, here are some tips and maybe some insights. So number 1, you have a lot of group projects. So my undergraduate major was biochemistry. We didn't have any group projects. We had labs together, and we had one partner that we worked with, or 2 if we're lucky, or unlucky depending on the person. But here we have a lot of group projects, groups of 4, 5, maybe even 6 people. We do a lot of things together, and from even day 1 of OT school, already group projects sprang on us. We didn't know anybody. The end of week 1, we had to sign up for a major final group project with 4 people that we didn't even know. So you'll soon learn that there are some people in your cohort that you like to work with, and there's some that you don't like to work with. And get to learning that real early, because you'll be picking your groups, and you want to be with people who you work well with, and you want to be with people who are who you're comfortable with just expelling ideas out, like not being scared to get shot down, so get to know your cohort and get to know pretty much everyone, their work habits, their group habits, and I mean, eventually you'll work with people that you don't like. It's inevitable. Sometimes we get to choose our groups, sometimes we don't, and that just depends on your professor. Yeah. So first semester I ended up with a group that I didn't work well with at all. In fact, I think only 2 of us in the group actually did work, and the other 2 just really slacked, and it didn't really end well. That's probably why I got my first B in my first semester of OT school. Number 2, there's a lot of sharing, speaking, and presentations. So if you're not a good speaker, and I'm not a good speaker, I have social anxiety, maybe, I might. I get really nervous, I get really sweaty, I talk with my hands. It's hard, but you really just step up to the plate, because as an OT, you want to be advocating for your patients, you want to be advocating for yourself and your profession, and you don't want to seem too passive. You have to be assertive, you have to stand your ground, and if you're talking to a doctor or a group of physicians in a group meeting, you have an idea that you need to tell them because it'll affect where the patient will discharge to, you have to stand up for yourself and you have to go and say it. So if you're not a comfortable speaker, you're gonna have to just force yourself to do it, because I didn't do any speaking in my undergrad, and I hated public speaking and all of that, and now it's really gotten to the point where it's okay, it's not too bad. I still get nervous and I have to prepare beforehand, or else I'll start stumbling over all my words or combine different, because that happens to me. Yeah, so just keep in mind that this might make you feel better, that like I didn't come from a public speaking background or was even a little bit comfortable. I was very anxious, and I can still do it. So don't let this one barrier prevent you from being an OT if that's your dream. What did I write? So here's a tip for me: just speak up when it matters to you, and it's important to have your opinions heard. Don't just keep your opinions in up here, but if they're important to you, make them be heard. Okay, number 3, OT school has a lot of huge, gigantic load of reading. And in my undergrad, I did some reading. I read all my assigned chapters, and that's still pretty much nothing compared to what I'm reading now. We're reading maybe 10 to 15 chapters of different books per week, and by the end of the semester we've read over like 100 chapters altogether, and I know that's a lot to study from. So OTs will always read from the beginning of OT school to now. I'm still reading, I'm rereading, I'm reviewing. There's a lot of reading. And when you're in OT, you're still reading. You've got continuing education units. You've got the American Journal of Occupational Therapy. You've got OT Practice, which is the magazine that AOTA, the American Occupational Therapy Association, publishes for practitioners who are already in the field. So you'll be a lifelong reader. You'll read journal articles. You need to base your interventions off of something that's evidence-based, and those are scientific journal articles. So there's a lot of reading, and like you get accustomed to it. It's sort of like working out. You know, like day 1 you start yourself off with 1 chapters. Day 2 you go up to 2, and eventually you'll be reading like 5 a day, and it won't be a problem. One thing that I do is I highlight in my books, as you have seen. And I know for some of you this might not be an option because you want to resell your books later on, but there are a lot of the books that I have that we've reused from semester to semester, and I've even seen these books on like OTs out in the field, and on their bookshelves they have the same books. So some of these books I highly recommend that you keep them. Some of these other books, however, and you'll learn which books are important and which aren't. Some of these other books you can definitely resell or even buy used or even rent if you need to save money. So there's a lot of reading, and you want to be organized. You want to keep track of which chapters you've read. You want to keep your notes someplace where you can access them for future use, because we reread or we touch up on the same material. And if your notes are organized, which mine aren't, this is just a tip, but my notes aren't organized, but this is a tip for you in the future to be better than me, because I've lost it. Okay, I've also wanted to say that you learn a lot from the books, and even though you think that whatever you're reading isn't like clear, once you go to your first fieldworks, your fieldwork 1s, the observation fieldworks, you'll start seeing and feeling like what spasticity is, or what tone is, or flaccidity. Like all these things, or apraxia, all these things in your books aren't like concrete to you, but they'll become concrete to you when you see them in a real patient. Okay, number 4, documentation is key. Soap. What's soap? Like, am I washing my hands? No, soap. Soap is the format of notes that we use, and it stands for subjective, objective, assessment, and plan. So you'll get to know that real well. Just know that we write a lot, we document a lot, and we have to do so in a not like a florally descriptive kind of manner. It's very concise. It's very it's like a rock. Like if you see a patient walking blah 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 and doing, you would write, Mary walked 50 feet and stood 30 seconds at the sink to complete daily hygiene tasks. You don't need to decorate your sentences. It's very simple, it's not verbose, it's concise, and it gets to the point real quick. So if you like to write a lot, and some people do, then you'll soon learn that you need to cut down on your words. So one thing I'd also like to say is that every professor teaches you how to document differently, teaches you how to write goals differently and formats differently. So when you're learning documentation, make sure to just get like a big picture and then document to how your professor likes it, and then just know that later on each facility or setting, they document differently and they have their own way of doing it. So you bring these general ideas and you bring them to your setting you're working to, and you apply that to their setting. And yeah, I mean, each professor teaches differently and the world wants it differently, and everything is just it's so vague. That's not one of my points, but I'm going to make that point number 5, that you will keep hearing it depends. Well, so you ask a question and the professor replies, well, I can see how you're seeing it like this, but maybe in this setting it will be like this, and maybe here it will be like that. So well, it just depends, you know. Well, if the patient has this and this, it really depends. You'll never get a concrete answer because real people aren't black and white, and OT is very gray. So like, maybe I'm a very black and white person, but so you just have to force yourself to think in the middle ground, in the gray area between the black and the white. And it will be hard and it will be frustrating, but just know that in the end, like, it'll make sense, and you yourself will soon be saying it depends all the time if students ask you questions. And then my last point, number 6, is your cohort is there for you. Our cohort is very connected. We have a Google Drive where we share notes, we share midterm and final reviews. We just share all the things that we find that are useful to us as OTs, and we aren't out for each other. We aren't like biting each other in the neck, stabbing each other in the back. We're not like that. But other cohorts out there, like, I've seen other cohorts out there that they are like that. They're very competitive, and every one of them is type A and strives to be number 1, and we have some of that in our cohort, but there's not a lot. And you want to have a group of people where you can be connected like that, even if your cohort is competitive, because these people are your lifeline, and they'll be there for you no matter what situation, because they're going through the exact same thing that you're going through, and we're all going to be OTs. And it's not like you'll be number 1 OT and I'll be number 7 OT. No, we're all going to be OTs, and we'll all be on the same level. So just know that help your friends out, and they'll help you out. It's a cohort. So yeah, we share midterm reviews, we share Quizlets that we make for ourselves and for each other. We post inspiring articles or inspiring quotes on our Facebook page. We post reminders so no one forgets that, oh no, we have a quiz due at midnight tonight on a Sunday. So just post that, and everyone else will be thankful, and like, you'll be thankful because they'll be doing that for you when you're forgetting. So that's what OT school is like, or a brief look into what OT school is like. If you like videos like this, press that thumbs up button. I really love OT school, even though it's super stressful, and I really love OT as a profession, so I would love to talk more about that. Subscribe for more content, and leave a comment down below on what you like, how your schooling is, if you're in school, or if you've experienced occupational therapy, or what you think it is, or etc. But I'll be PS, this is a side note, I'll be making a lot more speaking videos like this, because it's about time that I get a lot more comfortable speaking to you guys, the camera. So I'm gonna start out So this is very OT of me, but I'm gonna start out doing a lot of speaking videos by myself in the comforts of my own apartment, and then I'll be doing speaking videos in public because that's just made it extra harder. So I'll do it in public, and then I can take the camera and then I can do like dynamic moving, kind of like talking to myself vlog style in public. So these are just different grades that I'm taking one step at a time, because I just can't jump from here to there and be comfortable with it and make quality content. So that's it. Thank you so much for watching. Have a good day.